Hey man, don't mean to interrupt. You guys want to try and answer a really easy question? Multiple choice?
Oh yeah, what's that?
You guys want to try it? Yeah, I can explain it to you. Yeah?
I gotta get this on video.
Smart.
All right, so basically, it's about the physics of water. So we understand that water takes the shape of a container, always, right? How would you describe the surface of the water once it's settled?
How would you describe the surface?
The surface of water once it's settled, like in this bottle. Once the water is settled, how would you describe the surface? I like that. So horizontal will be a proper term, right? Horizontal, right? Again, it's not a trick question, it's very easy, okay? Which one of these two is correct based on our understanding of physics of water? A or B? Very easy.
Definitely B.
Which is the right answer? Based on our understanding of water level and the physics of water. Once it's contained, which one of these two is correct?
Once it's
Like,
contained.
like let's say we had a giant pool and we filled it up with water. Which one of these two represents the surface of the water inside the pool?
That pool.
Yeah. A, right?
Gotta be A, yeah.
Yeah, that's the obvious answer, right? It's not a trick question.
Okay.
So my point of doing this is, do you think it's possible for me to trick you guys and warp your common sense to make you believe the answer is actually B, even though we know it's A?
I mean, it depends on like the ground, the surface. Oh,
What-
because whatever's containing the water.
Let me tell you this.
So it's-
What if I was to tell you that you guys already been tricked to believe it's B? Even though we know the answer is A, you guys believe it's B. You guys want to know why?
Why?
You guys believe Earth is a ball?
Yeah.
The Earth? So they tell us the Earth has a certain dimension, 24,901 miles, a radius of 3959, which means it has to curve at 8 inches per mile squared. So basically, here, you guys want to take a quick look at this? Let me see, I have the curvature formula right here. Here it is. You guys want to take a quick look at that? So basically, based on the dimensions they tell us the Earth is, because NASA supposedly orbits the Earth, so they technically have to know the size of the Earth if they're supposedly doing it. So they have to give us these numbers. But if we were to go out in reality and build a perfectly level structure over a body of water that's 2 miles, 3 miles long, we should be able to measure that curvature. So at 3 miles, there should be a 6-foot drop. So if we start at 5 feet, it should be 11 feet by 3 miles, the water curving. But we understand the physics of water. It doesn't matter the size of the bottle, the water inside is always going to equalize. That's what level means. It equalizes from elevation, right? So this will be the #1 experiment that would debunk the globe. So basically Earth, sea level, you guys are familiar with the term sea level? So that's how we measure heights and depth. Airplanes fly level, horizontal. Airplanes wouldn't fly around a ball. It wouldn't work because airplanes fly level. So,
saying the Earth is flat?
well, flat Earth is basically a term that was propped up to be mocked because it's literally this simple to understand. We understand the physics of water doesn't do this. We know that. We know the physics of water does this. It's always level.
But you're not putting in you're not thinking about gravity though.
So okay, so gravity, I'm glad you brought it up. So gravity is just a theory. I don't know if you guys knew. And want me to, so the reason why it's a theory is because they didn't measure a force pulling objects down. They measure the rate in which things drop. So it's a measurement of speed, 9.8 meters per second. That's what they tell us. So that anybody could do that measurement, but it's a measurement of the effect, not of a cause of why things fall. So we're measuring the effect. It's just the speed, distance traveled in a certain amount of time. That's what gravity is. But the theory of them pulling stuff down is just a theory to make us believe in the ball Earth theory. You guys have any other questions or any other points? Because the reason why things drop is actually a phenomenon. You guys know what that is, right? A phenomenon? It means that we can clearly see it happening, but we don't know why. You know what I'm saying? So they take that phenomenon and they twist it with their own little story to make us believe that the Earth is a globe. You know what I'm saying? So the theory of the Big Bang, the theory of evolution, the theory of relativity, the theory of gravity, it's all theories to make us believe in this.
Gravity isn't a theory though.
It is. You can look it up. It's not an argument. You could literally look it up. It's a theory.
You're right, it's not an argument.
Yeah, it's a theory. Yeah, this is the laws of physics of water. A law will be different from a theory, the opposite of a theory, because the law can't break it. This is the laws of physics of water. Not this. This. This is the laws of physics. Doesn't matter how I tilt this bottle, the water's always going to equalize on the surface. That's what water does.
But gravity's a part of physics, so you're
you're trying to. Gravity is just a belief. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's just a theory. Again, we don't know why things fall. That's
the magnetic field of the Earth.
Well, the magnetic field makes compasses point north. It has nothing to do with dropping things.
No, the Earth is like
that's why
a giant magnet.
That's why compasses point north. There's supposedly a magnet coming from the north. That's why compasses point north. That's what they tell us.
No, that's true.
Well, you believe that. I don't believe that. I go with physics. I understand the physics of water. Yeah. So water level means horizontal. Water level doesn't mean curved. That's what they try to tell us. So the mainstream, especially in college, they try to redefine water level to mean curved. And you want to know how they do it? Equal distance from the surface to the center of a sphere. So if you get 5 feet or 5 inches over a basketball, and then 5 inches over a basketball going this way, they consider that level because it's 5 inches on top of the basketball. So, but that would be a curved line though if you connect them. That's not level in reality. Level in reality is horizontal. But that's how we define it in school to trick people.
There's no gravity. How are we on this floor?
It's a phenomenon. That's what I kept saying.
Phenomenon of what? You can't.
A phenomenon means we don't know why things drop. That's what it means.
So you say you don't know why. So you're also saying
put it
it's
this way.
True, right?
The rate in which things, or the reason why things fall, has nothing to do with measuring curvature. It's a separate discussion. Is my point. So the reason why things fall, it's a phenomenon, and a phenomenon means that we don't know why. So and even if there was gravity, we should be able to measure the curvature regardless. Even if there was gravity, right? Curving the oceans, we should be able to measure that curvature like this. Build a perfectly level structure, like a horizontal platform over a lake or any body of water, and at anything over a mile, we should be able to measure that. 8 inches per mile squared. That's the dimensions they tell us. But we understand there's not even going to be 1 inch. Put it this way: at 10 miles, they should be 66 feet taller than this building. Maybe about that height. Who knows? But that's how much curvature they should be at 10 miles. We know that's not going to be there. The physics of water, it's impossible for water to be curving around a ball.
Why do you believe that gravity's not real?
I'm not denying gravity. Objects do drop. I'm not denying that. It's a phenomenon. Why? All we did was measure the rate in which things fall. They call that gravity.
Yeah, you said it's like it's just an effect, but we don't really have a cause.
Yeah, we don't. You want to know why? My opinion? They say that things drop at 9.8 meters per second, right? In reality, what I think, this is my opinion. I don't like to talk about this because this is a separate discussion. The Earth is rising up at 9.8 meters per second. So when you drop something, it's actually floating. So the Earth is coming in contact with it at 9.8 meters per second. That's how we have resistance. That's how we have weight. That's how we're able to weight ourselves. Because there needs to be resistance in order to have pressure. And in order to have pressure, that's what we need to measure weight. You know what I'm saying? We even in air pressure, we measure it by weight, PSI, pounds per square inch. They say Earth has PSI of 14.7, right? They tell us that outer space is a negative vacuum, meaning negative from 14.7. Two opposing pressure systems cannot coexist next to each other without a barrier, because the word pressure means it's pressing against the wall of a container. So that's why if you puncture a hole in a cylinder or a tire with air, the air equalizes. Exactly, the air pressure is always trying to equalize. So the fact that we have pressure here on Earth, 14.7, means that the Earth is contained somehow. So I know you guys heard of the theory of the dome theory, right? I don't go with the dome theory because it's kind of biblical. We don't know how Earth is being contained. All we know that we have air pressure, and in order to have air pressure, there needs to be some kind of containment, because air pressure means the air is pressing against the walls of its container. It's trying to escape, it's trying to equalize. So outer space couldn't exist next to us with a pressure system without a barrier of some sort. So outer space is just a concept. It's just a fancy story, basically. So outer space, the distance to other planets and all that's all made up. It's all a theory. And a theory is just a fancy word for imagination. I don't know if you guys knew that.
What about the Mars rover then?
Let me show you guys. So these are what the stars actually look like. So this is what the stars actually look like. This is with an 82 times zoom camera. So that tells you they're about 100 miles away. They're not really far. Maybe 1,000, because there's not that much atmosphere covering when you look up. So I think they're either on or reflecting on the ceiling. Again, I don't know how this ceiling looks. I don't want to claim it's a dome because I don't know. We haven't explored the Earth. Now here's another thing. This is what the planets look like. And they're very similar, and we can bring them back into focus the same. That tells us they're at about the same distance as the stars, because we shouldn't be able to bring them into the same focus. And they look very similar. The only reason why these are different is because they used to be called wandering stars. So all the other stars are fixed on the sky like a map. So they reset every year. Navigators used to use them to navigate the Earth back in the day. That would only work from a level. Navigating the Earth using triangulation wouldn't work from a curved base, because all triangles have straight lines, 180 degrees. So that's how they measure to navigate back in the day the stars, because the sky is fixed. It just spins. We don't spin. The sky spins. So these have their unique paths. All the planets have their unique paths, and they used to be called wandering stars. So yeah, outer space is just basically a fairy tale to make us, again, believe in the globe. It's another theory, just like the theory of evolution. I have some info you guys want to take, some flyers. I have literally like the 6 main proofs here, but there's also a video you can look up on YouTube. It's called 200 Proofs, the Earth is not a ball. And that's basically 200 proofs just mashed into one video. You guys want to take a look. And I just started coming out, having these conversations because this is the #1 ridiculed subject, and that's the #1 way they censor it. Because they couldn't just remove all this information from the internet. It would be too obvious. So what they did is they demoted all of this information and promoted a bunch of people just ridiculing it. Yeah, like the news or people with millions of subscribers. A lot of people with millions of subs, they're just sellouts. They do things for the money. So they're literally just ridiculing the subject to keep people from the simplicity of understanding physics. Because physics is really easy to understand. Physics is all around us. It's just about testing what happens. When
Why would anyone want to lie about the Earth?
I'll tell you. I'll put it in simple terms. The reason why they lied to us about the Earth is to disconnect us from our true purpose here. So the one way to do that is to disconnect us from our natural environment. So they lied to us about what the natural environment is, therefore they lied to us about who we are and what our purpose here is. You know what I'm saying? So they keep us all confused, just shopping, our natural purpose here. You really think we're here to just work and pay taxes? Or you think
What
we're
do you
here?
think our purpose is?
It's my subjective opinion. It's subjective. At the end of the day, it's subjective. Everybody's gonna have to live their life how they want to live it. I would like to live life where I'm not forced to pay taxes, where I could build my shelter, grow my food, and have the option to participate in an economy if I want to. But when I'm being forced to pay taxes, I'm being forced to participate. You know what I'm saying? And I don't agree with that.
Why?
So it's about a way of life,
Changing
basically.
how we look at the Earth affect how
I
we
just
pay
explained it.
taxes?
It's about a way of life. It's about it's not just about the shape of the earth. It's about disconnecting us from what we should be doing here. We shouldn't be working for other people paying taxes. That's how they want us, and that's how everybody is right now because we're all ignorant. I was ignorant. I came across this 6 years ago, and I just didn't have the courage to come out and talk to this year. I actually just started about a month ago. So I actually have a channel if you guys want to check out the other conversations I have.
Sure.
You know.
Is it on here?
No. If you guys want to pull out your phone, it's level-headed William. My name is William. So level-headed William, and it's
Are you
and
from here?
yes, I'm actually born and raised in LA.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I just I had a job around here because I work in moving.
Yeah.
So I figure I'm close to Hollywood Boulevard. It's Saturday. There's gonna be a lot of people there.
Yeah.
I started doing this already. Why not go out and talk to people, right? Believe it or not, everything happens for a reason. So you guys want to take a flyer too? Maybe maybe just in case he loses it. Here you go. You want one? I don't know if you stay with them
You said you have a channel? Like,
yeah, a YouTube channel. Yeah. Oh, you got it already? Yeah. Here you go. Just in case, you never know. You have a friend, maybe you want to give it to him, kind of troll him a bit, You guys have any questions? Yeah, YouTube. You guys have any questions about this subject? You guys heard about this, right? Flat Earth, right?
This is right.
How long ago did you guys hear about it? Would you say?
A couple years.
That's when I heard about it the first time too, 2016. It took me like about a month. I'm not gonna lie. I was a space junkie, so it was really hard for me to accept this.
Right.
But once I accepted it, everything just became clear to me. All the manipulation in government, all the shit going on right now in the world, literally, is because of our ignorance, believe it or not. I can't be really mad at the government because they could only do so much. It's our ignorance that makes it happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm out here, just to try to inform people, to just be a little bit more sharp, a little bit more aware, pay attention to what they're telling us. If they can replicate what they're claiming, show us in person, then, and especially if they're calling it a theory, we shouldn't believe it, man. Because believing people opens the door to being deceived. So I don't believe anything anymore. It's either I know something or I don't. I'm okay with not knowing something. I hear a lot of stories and people trip out that I don't believe these stories. And it's like, I trip out that you believe them. It's just a story. Like it's a cool story. I'm not gonna deny it, but I'm not gonna accept it either.
Even if the Earth was flat, and they still make us pay taxes. Whether it's round or flat, they can still make us pay taxes.
But taxes are illegal?
No, it's not.
They are illegal.
It's actually not paying taxes.
It's done consensually. Taxes. That's why when you get a job and you fill out a form, you're agreeing to paying taxes because legally they cannot force you to pay taxes. So the taxes, basically, again, this topic, it's the shape of the earth is kind of like the start. It's kind of to get you thinking, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of to get the gears going. So learning about the shape of the earth, of course, nothing's gonna change right away. You gotta like want to make yourself better, understand reality better. Don't take other people's word for it. Just understand for yourself. If you can't understand it, it's okay. Say I don't understand. Can you explain it further? Can you simplify it? Right? If they can simplify what people, especially what these scientists claim, then it's bullshit.
My last question was, what would the benefit of telling us the Earth is round.
It's just to keep us. It's basically
You said taxes. Like they can still charge.
It's to have willful, ignorant tax slips, basically. It's to keep us ignorant about our true nature here and our purpose, and because we don't know why we're here, we're just gonna follow other people that we think that are smarter than us. We're just gonna follow what they tell us to do.
All the videos of them going out of
Yeah,
space.
yeah. So all the space agencies are basically in on it. All the governments. I don't know if you guys know the UN exists, United Nations.
Yes.
It's over 55 countries signed an Antarctic treaty, keeping people from exploring. So that's another thing. The South, Antarctica, it's actually that. The funny thing is, when you fly south and come back up to the north, that will prove the globe, supposedly. But I mean, it would technically. But that's the one thing they don't allow people to do. Nobody can go south to come back right up.
The word Antarctica
If
is
the
banned
Earth
on a
was
lot of
flat,
social media
there wouldn't be a sunset because there wouldn't be a horizon.
Oh,
We would see all the stars.
so basically, the sun. I actually have a graph in my. But here, let me just explain it real quick. So the way the sun works is, okay. Let me. So if there's an object above us, right, 20 feet, right above us, right, 20 feet, and we start walking away from it, or we move that object away from us, it's gonna look like it's descending the further away it gets from us. Even though it's staying at the same altitude, it looks like it's descending, right? And the reason why that happens is because we have spherical eyes. So because we have spherical eyes, we have spherical vision, which means parallel lines convert. So basically, when you look at railroads, you know those railroads are parallel to each other, right? But if you go down and look at the railroads, it looks like they're converging. But we know that's not really happening in reality, right? So the sun, they tell us that it's, I don't know how many times bigger than the Earth, like 200 times bigger than the Earth, right? I don't know. But they tell us it's 93 million miles away, right? So, but in reality, the sun has been triangulated from Earth, from a level, to only be, again, I never did these measurements. These are just kind of like stories, but people can replicate this though. It's been estimated for the sun to be about 30 miles in height, maybe 30 or 3,000, but only about 30 miles in diameter. So the size of a city, it's only. So you could get a visual of this. The sun is about the size of a city, right? And that same size in height.
The sun
is
the size of a city.
If allegedly, like, and that's why it doesn't light up the whole Earth, because it travels around it like a clock. And again, because of our law of perspective, when something gets further away, it drops in our field of view. And I actually have a graph to show that. Look at that. So B, this arc represents our eyeball, right? So as B gets further away, the same height, look what happens here. It gets lower in our vision. You see that? The further something gets, and then the floor does the opposite. The floor goes on top. The further something goes, it rises up in front of our vision. We have kind of like pyramid vision in a way. So we don't have infinite vision. That's the point. And that's why the sun sets. Or it looks like it sets, but it just moves further away around the other side. And that's supposedly under the Earth, but it's just the other side. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so the sun is very small and local. You know, it's not a giant gas ball, you know. It's probably some kind of LED light or something, you know. Like we don't know what the sun is, to be honest. But it has nothing to do with measuring the ground, you know. So, man, I mean, thanks for talking to me, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, man.
That was cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. You guys have a good one, man.
Nice to have a different perspective.
Right. All right. All right, you guys have a good one. No problem.
Doing,
man. Thank you.
Brave for this, because everybody probably would have been, you know.
Trust me. That's why I kind of have to do it like this. Like, have a method of approach, because if I were just to come out and say, oh, the Earth is flat, people are not even going to stop to talk to me. So I kind of have to have a method of approach so that I could get people's attention. Exactly. You know, man? All right, man. Have a good one, man. Enjoy your day.